Hi everyone. So for our first lecture, we're going to go over thesis statements. It's going to be broken up into two separate videos because we're going to go over two separate kinds of thesis statements. The first type we're going to go over, I call it the basic thesis statement format. In the second video, we'll go over something called the Sheridan-Baker thesis machine, which is more of a process to compose a strong thesis than a specific format. So before we begin, just a quick reminders. So in case you were unaware, don't forget that thesis statements are always located at the last sentence of your introductory paragraph. So again, your thesis statement is the last sentence, and it's only one sentence long of your introductory paragraph. We will be going over introductory and concluding paragraphs in a future lecture. We're going over thesis statements first, though, because arguably the thesis statement is one of the most important, if not the most important part of any academic essay. So let's go ahead and begin. Okay, so again, thesis statements, also known as the basic thesis statement format. It's composed of two components, the reason plus the claim. I'm going to go ahead and pause on this slide for a couple of seconds. If anyone wants to pause to answer the question, please feel free to do so. Yell at the screen, pretend that we're in class, whatever it is that you want to do to interact and engage with the video. So, well, you know what? Let me just go ahead and answer the questions. So what is a thesis statement? In case anyone didn't know, a thesis statement is, think of it as a kind of table of contents. We'll go more into detail about that in a separate slide. It's made up of different components. Is it made up of different components? If so, what? As covered in the first slide, it is the claim plus reasons. Where does one typically find the thesis statement? Well, as I stated before we began this lecture, this PowerPoint, it's always located as the last sentence of your introductory paragraph. Pushing forward. So what is a claim? The claim is just whatever the writer thinks is significant, what you want to write about. And what are the reasons? The reasons support the claim. It explains why the claim is significant. Another way to think about this, your claim is your main idea and your reasons are your supporting ideas. So what a thesis statement does. So as stated earlier, you could think of your thesis statement as a type of table of contents. Why can't we think about it in that way? Well, because it informs the readers. In the same way that one gets a new book and they go to the table of contents to determine where they want to go in the book if they're not reading it in order, it's the same thing with your thesis statement. When your reader gets to your claim, they know exactly what your paper will be about. And when they get to your reasons, and your reasons always come in sets of 3 unless otherwise stated, they're going to know what each body paragraph is going to be discussing. So for example, when they get to your claim and they get to your reason A, they'll know that body paragraph A will be about reason A. Body paragraph A will not be about reason B or C. Whatever your reasons are formatted, your body paragraph should follow. And then because of that, that's why it lays out the foundation of your paper. Because again, the order of your reasons is the order of what you'll be discussing in regards to your main idea. It should be brief. Why should it be brief? Because you're only using the thesis statement to introduce your readers to your main idea and your argument. It's in your topic sentences and the body paragraphs where you'll go into detail of your argument. So the thesis statement lets the readers know what your essay will be about, while the body paragraphs goes into detail about that argument. So what a thesis statement doesn't do, it should not announce the writer's general interests or plans. For example, I intend to discuss how Mr. transforms in The Color Purple. If anyone is unfamiliar with The Color Purple, this is the novel we'll be reading in this class. So don't worry if you haven't seen the movie or read the novel before. You will be starting in week 3, or I believe week 4, excuse me. So hopefully you guys recognize that this is just a claim. This is what the writer thinks is significant, but it's not really telling us much. It's just an overview. There's no specifics. Make the thesis statement a definite assertion of your views. I intend to discuss how Mr. transforms in The Color Purple, highlighting the importance of the choices one makes and how those choices affects not only oneself, but also everyone within one's community. So your claim, I intend to discuss how Mr. transforms in The Color Purple. Reason A, or what body paragraph A will be about, highlighting the importance of the choices one makes. So focusing on how choices affect the individual. And then reason B, and how those choices affects not only oneself, but also everyone within one's direct community. So reason B, body paragraph B, will be focusing on how one's decisions has a greater impact. It doesn't just impact the individual, it impacts the individual and whatever connections they might have with other people. Right? So now we know what our main idea is, discussing how mystery transforms, but why are we discussing that? Well, reason A and reason B support why we're discussing our claim. We're discussing how mystery transforms to examine how his choices impact himself as an individual, and lastly, how those choices impact the community as well. So quick note, thesis statements should not limit you. Your 3 reasons does not mean you only have 3 body paragraphs. So before we continue, I like to use popular culture in my examples. So the next slide is going to have another thesis statement, but it's going to be based on a video game. So example, The Witcher 3 is one of the best games made because of its narrative content, attention to character details, and the dense themes the game covers. So before we go into detail about what the topic sentences for each body paragraph will be, and don't worry if you don't know what those terms are, we'll be covering that in the body paragraph plus topic sentence lecture. But again, we're just going over thesis statements first because it's the most important, if not one of the most important components of any academic essay. So The Witcher 3 is one of the best games made. There's my claim, my main idea. Where's my supporting details? Reason A, because of its narrative content. Reason B, attention to character details. And then finally, reason C, the dense themes the game covers. So, okay, here's my claim. Here's my reason A, reason B, and then finally, reason C, right? So again, the thesis statements lets the reader know what your paper will be about, but we do not go into detail into the body paragraphs. And the very first sentence of each body paragraph begins with a topic sentence. Your topic sentence should be stemming from your thesis statement, more specifically the claim plus individual reason for each body paragraph. So let's look at the first topic sentence, or in other words, the first sentence for the first body paragraph. Topic sentence number 1, the narrative structure of The Witcher 3 allows for dramatic build-up. Okay, so narrative content. What are we discussing about the narrative content? So what? Why should we care about this? Well, because its structure allows for dramatic build-up. Okay, excellent. Let's go to reason B. Attention to character details. So what? Why should we care about that? Let's go to topic sentence sub number 1. The detective style plot that The Witcher utilizes allows for scenes where dialogue becomes vital, allowing for intriguing stories and not only the main quest, but side quests as well. Well, hold on, wait a minute. Reason B is about character details, correct? Yet topic sentence sub number 1 is still focusing on narrative content and specifying not just on the narrative content, but on the side quests as well, and focusing on dialogue. That's still part of narrative content, correct? So is this incorrect? No, it's not. As long as you make sure your topic sentences are clearly relating back to one of your reasons, and it's going in order of what your reasons are listed in your thesis statement, then you're good to go. So again, topic sentence number 1, it's focusing on narrative content. That's fine. You don't want to move on to reason B though. You want to continue discussing narrative content. That's also fine. You can't not do that. You're more than welcome to do that. How? Just make sure you have a topic sentence that clearly refers back to reason A, which this does. And then once you're satisfied, you want to move on to reason B. Then your next topic sentence number 2, the focus on narrative details allows for the characters to become much more fleshed out, allowing them to have individual characteristics that makes the game feel more immersive. Now, obviously, we're expanding from reason B, and then topic sentence number 3 will be expanding upon reason C. So in other words, topic sentence number 1, this is body paragraph A. Topic sentence sub number 1, this is for body paragraph B. So reason A is going to have 2 body paragraphs. Topic sentence number 2, or body paragraph C, will be for reason B of your thesis statement. And then finally, body paragraph D, or topic sentence number 3, will be for your last reason, right? So again, although you're going to have 4 body paragraphs or 4 topic sentences and you only have 3 reasons, that's okay, as long as the topic sentences refer back to the reasons. Lastly, something to consider, go for themes over specific lists. What I mean by this is you don't want to be too specific with your thesis statement, because if you are, you're going to write yourself into a corner. You won't have much to discuss, but you also don't want to be too broad, because then if you are too broad, you're going to have too much to go over. You won't know where to begin. think of your thesis statement as like a Goldilocks story with the porridge, not too hot, not too cold, just perfect. You don't want to be too specific nor too broad. You want to go for themes instead of specific items. So hopefully that makes sense. If it doesn't, please feel free to shoot me an email or to ask me during one of our Wednesday classes. So we're going to go ahead and stop right there. As a reminder, thesis statements always come as the last sentence in your introductory paragraph. It is always one sentence. We'll be going over a second format to compose thesis statements with part 2, covering the Sheridan-Pickard thesis machine. This lecture, we went over the basic thesis statement format, which is just your claim plus reasons, or main idea plus supporting ideas. And your reasons, unless otherwise stated, always comes in sets of 3. The easiest way to come up with your reasons is to look at your claim and ask yourself, so what? Why should we care about this? And to generate a brainstorming list with about 5 items, then choose the 3 that you feel the most passionate about, the most interesting to you, and those 3 items will become your reasons. And then lastly, don't forget, you don't want to be too specific with your reasons. You want to make sure you go for themes and be not too specific nor too broad, but cover enough material that you're able to have a specific claim with supporting ideas that support your main idea. Again, if there's any questions, please feel free to shoot me an email, either via Canvas or to see me during the Wednesday class, or even to go to the Learning Center or the Tutoring Center. Thank you and take care.